Fresno Pacific losing in their first ever semifinal game in the WWPA, and then losing to Concordia, and then Gannon falling to Biola yesterday, 11-9, in that close one for Gannon, and the tough one for Fresno Pacific, losing that contest by 10. But both of these teams still with a chance to head back home with third place in the 2025 WWPA Championship. And then we will decide the 2025 champion after the conclusion of this game. It is going to be the Southern California battle with Concordia going up against Biola. Also the battle of the Eagles as well. The Golden Eagles going up against the Eagles of Biola. Batorma Hauchi was in net for Gannon yesterday, and Chase Hammes, who has played every single minute in the crease for Fresno Pacific in this tournament. Fresno Pacific, they defeated McKendree in the quarterfinals 17-13, but we just talked about losing to Concordia yesterday. And on the other side, Gannon getting the bye to the semifinals as the #1 seed out of the East. They defeated UC Merced in their Expedition game on Friday, 18-14, but like we talked about, they could not get past Biola, losing to the Eagles yesterday, 11-9. As we get ready to start this one here, and then it will be time to crown the champion. Fresno Pacific, they are in the white caps. They will be attacking left to right to start. Gannon will be in the black caps and will be attacking right to left. And it is going to be Chase Hammes, the 2025 All-Conference member of the Honorable Mention team this year. He will be controlling the crease for Fresno Pacific as the Sunbirds are in the pool first. And let's see who will be in net on the other side. It will be Batorma Hauchi again. As we wait to see, as Gannon into the pool with the third place game about to get underway here in Geneva. And it will indeed be Mahauchi back in net for Gannon. This is the first time Fresno Pacific is going to be playing in the third place game as well. As everybody is opening, and the start, and a possession to start for Fresno Pacific in the third place game. It seems it was going to be won by Nick Forrest Lanzettis. But it's going to be Tristan Fox controlling for Fresno Pacific to start this contest. Third place up for grabs here. There's Ramos. And a whistle as he was just about to fire the shot. And an exclusion out of the gate. Zajacic getting called, and the one-timer poked into the air. Falshon getting a piece of it. And Gannon is going to have to retreat because the penalty shot is going to be on the way. It will be taken by Chris Sandino to try to get the Birds on the board first. 1v1 with Mahauchi. Sandino Mahauchi with the stop to start this game. Fedor Mahauchi. Valant. Farshong. Coach-Scar, the first team member for Gannon. Coach-Scar. Fake the shot, sending it left instead. And Bordy. Farshong at the 5-meter. Looking to shoot, still controls 10 seconds. Tried to feed the one-timer in front, but applying the pressure was Samuel Ramos to get it back for Fresno Pacific. No goal in the opening minute of this third-place game. Hammes to Ramos. Foul against Lanzitas. And another whistle. And Sandino's going to control in the corner. Throws it back to Blake Johnson. 5 seconds to shoot for Fresno Pacific. Johnson trying to skip it through, and it is going to skip high and out of play. Going to be controlled by Colton, or actually wrong team. It's Kotsgar. Lanzitas throws a wide open man on the far side. Kotsgar fires, and that is going to skip wide, but since it went off Hammis, Gannon is going to regain possession. Kotsgar again. He fires high again. Kotsgar off of the feed from the man on the far side. That was Mateo Zajacic. Fresno Pacific has control again. Blake Johnson at the 6-meter line, and another foul away from the play that's going to result in another turnover. And Gannon with control. 2 minutes have gone by in this opening period, and not a goal yet, but Gannon looking to change that right here. Farsong, what a stop for Hammis. It's a keeper duel to start this game. That big stop for Hammis. Mahouchi had that big save on the penalty shot. And it goes back to Sandino. Throws it past the 5. 10 seconds to shoot. And Blake Johnson just above the 6. 5 to shoot. Sandino, he scores. Chris Sandino sending it over the head of Mahouchi. And Fresno Pacific strikes first. Sandino with the love over the head of Mahouchi. Zajacic. Farsong. Lanzitas trying to swim back. Gannon still looking to get on the board. Farsong lets it go. He scores. Ramard Farsong gets the Knights on the board. The sophomore out of Hungary. Mahouchi feeds Sandino. Lanzitas pressuring him. There's Tristan Fox. Forrest Gray, second team member on the all-conference team this year. He's going to fire, and it is denied by Mahouchi. Victor Vallant, the sophomore out of France. Sends it to the point. Zajacic got the Vallant. Zajacic with the catch. 7 seconds to shoot. Zajacic looking to fire at the point. Trying to let it go. Lanzitas, and that's going to rattle off of the crossbar. Fresno Pacific has it back. Trying to take the lead. Canales gets pressured to the outside. Ramos trying to swim ahead. Feeds a pass to the far side to Forrest Gray. Farsong goes on him. Sandino at the point. Short pass, Ramos. 8 seconds to shoot. Ramos maneuvers, and the love is going to hit the post. As he circled the ball into the air. And Mahouchi trying for a catch just out of the reach of the target. It was Vallant, and Hammis receives the other way. And Gray off of the crossbar. Or is Gray trying to send it home? But it hit the post. Valant. Fresno Pacific trying to get back, and Valant has a clear avenue to the net. Pulls it back to Farshaw. Zajacic. Farshaw. Valant in exclusion. As Gannon tries for their first lead of this game. Farshaw trying to provide the goal. Back at the point. Zajacic lets it go. He scores. Zajacic getting it past Canales and Hammes. And back-to-back goals for Gannon with 2:58 remaining in the first quarter. Mateja Zajacic, the freshman out of Serbia. Of course, the home of head coach for Gannon, Zarko Zadakovic. And another whistle. Fresno Pacific trying to tie it. Canales into the middle. The turnaround shot is denied by Mahalchi. And as the whistle blew, it seems that would have went in and wouldn't have counted anyway. With a shot to Kristen Clark in front. And Mahalchi sending it off to the other side. Lanzitas. Some open space. And they shoot as Valant was trying to make it 3-1. But it went off Hammes. So Gannon regains control. Lanzitas. Steiner Mills, Lanzitas throws it, he scores! Nickforos Lanzitas, the sophomore out of Greece, 3 goals in a row for Gannon. Lanzitas, a member of the honorable mention team this year. He was a first-team member a year ago in his freshman year. Also a member of the defensive team and the freshman team. And he makes it 3-1. 3 goals in a row for the host school. And 10 seconds to shoot for Fresno Pacific. Trying to stop a 3-0 drought. And that was the big key why Concordia was able to drive away. They had 11 goals in a row yesterday after they were down 3-2. And that is going to be intercepted. Applying the pressure was Valant. And Valant pushing it ahead. Schaub in the arms on the outside. Waiting for his teammates to get back. Trying to feed it into the middle. Snyder Mills pulling it back. Lanzitas. McGarry, the Erie native. And he is going to not score! Or is it going to count? Did that cross over? Oh, it did! That was so close to call. And Michael McGarry makes it 4-1. That was so close, right at the line. I'll have another look at it. But a timeout that is called by Fresno Pacific. After Fresno Pacific got the first goal of the game, it has been 4 in a row for Gannon. And Gary receiving the catch there. We got the slow-mo as he circled it around in the air. He tried to push it in, and the momentum as it hit off of the post. And it went into the back of the net. Michael McGarry will take it, one of the handful of Erie natives on this Gannon roster this year, including Houston Morphy, keeper, who went to Cathedral Prep High School. And got Michael McGarry, who went to McDowell, and Callum Snyder Mills, who went to Cathedral Prep, the Erie natives for Gannon. As Gannon, of course, had the hopes of winning the championship as the host school. Something that hasn't happened in a few years. They lost 11-9 yesterday. Ramon Farsong would end up getting the last goal for Gannon to make it 10-9 with under a minute remaining, and then Gannon needing a stop, but Isaac Dembski getting the game-winning goal with 32 seconds left to seal it for Biola. As Mahalchi sends it off to Farsong, as Gannon will try to go for 5 in a row with under a minute remaining until we head to the second. So Jacek sending it off, Farsong trying for another, and that skips wide. That would have went in. Farsong would have had his second. So Gannon will try again into the middle, looking for a turnaround shot. An exclusion against Fresno Pacific. Into the middle. Coat Scar. The love over the one-timer off the post, and it is going to be out of play with the rebound chance right in front to Jacek. It's Fresno Pacific trying to stop the bleeding before we head to the second is Sandino. Fresno Pacific has not scored since they got the opening goal in this period. Ramos, 5 seconds. He waits, one-timer, and they score! Forrest Gray sending it past Mahalchi. And Mahalchi tried for the diving stop, but Forrest Gray was able to push it in. And there's 3 seconds. So Gannon will try for maybe one Hail Mary shot before we head to the second. Coach score, lets it go. It is denied by Hamas to end the quarter. And it's a 4-2 lead for Gannon. It's Forrest Gray sending the one-timer through off the feed from Ramos, with Mahalchi doing everything he can, thinking he was going to stop it, but Forrest Gray was able to separate himself just enough from Mahalchi to get the goal. So it was the 1-goal lead for Fresno Pacific, and then Gannon getting 4 in a row, and then Forrest Gray ending the drought for the Birds, as it is now 4-2 as we move to the second. Gannon looking to finish off the season 14-10, and for Fresno Pacific, tough season, only 5 wins, and they look to finish off this season with 6. The wins for Fresno Pacific in the regular season, including getting one against Iona. 20-7, the final there in Claremont, California at the Inland Empire Classic. And then they defeated San Joaquin Delta College, a community college, 23-2. They defeated American Rivers 16-9, and then Laverne at the Gary Troyer tournament in Orange County, 20-12. And then they took down UC Merced 9-8. And taking down Biola 11-6 on November 14th for their second WWPA win of the season. And then, of course, defeating McKendree in the quarterfinals by losing to Concordia Irvine yesterday, 15-5, to eliminate their hopes of a championship. We talked about it a lot yesterday. Fresno Pacific, the most senior program in the WWPA now. They have been a member of this conference since 2015. Playing in the semifinals for the first time in their history yesterday. Gannon looks to finish off the year 14-10. Gannon, they also went into the tournament on a 4-match winning streak after losing to McKendree. And their only WWPA loss of the season, they rattled off 4 straight victories, including Salem, and then they took down crosstown rival Mercier's former WWPA member. Then they took down Washington and Jefferson 15-11. And then their last game of the regular season was against Penn State Barron, who was also a crosstown rival. Off to the second, a 4-2 lead for Gannon. Third place on the line. Sandino battling for the opening sprint with Lanzides. And Lanzides will race it up at the 5-meter. Throws it over, trying for the intercept, and Forrest Gray is going to have it. A turnover for Fresno Pacific on the first offensive possession for Gannon. And Sandino controls in the water with the pass over. Gray, and it's going to be denied by Mahauchi. As Forrest Gray tried to go back-to-back. Valant. Who's going to get the opening quarter of the opening score of the second is Sandino. With the steal on Valant. And Forrest Gray closing on down, gets forced to the outside with pressure by Farshong. Ramos in front, they score! 1-goal game. Four 4-3, Christian Clark. Zajacic. Gannon getting up 2 goals in a row. Valant. Past the 2-meter. Taking the shot, and that is denied by Hamas. Oh, rebound chance, they score! Ramard Farshong picking up the ball and sending it into the back of the net to make it 5-3. Farshong taking that shot behind Hamas. I don't think he saw him at all. And it's a 2-goal lead for Gannon. There's Gray. Lets it go, denied by Mahauchi. Mahauchi throws it to Valant. 5-meter. Farshong again. Pressure by Fox. Trying for the one-timer into the middle, but the pass was a little too far. Ramos gets it back, and Gray applying that pressure to Petr Markovic to the night chance in front. And there's Sandino as the Sunbirds try to get back within 1. Can they do it on the one-timer? Mahauchi with a stop rebound off the post, and a third try, and Mahauchi with another stop. Denies the chance in front, the multiple chances to Blake Johnson. Lanzides throws it over. Back to the near side, it's Kotsgar. Battling with Ramos. Valant. Into the middle, they shoot, they score! Markovic gets it there, 6-3 Knights. It'll be controlled by Brokar. And an intercept, for Gannon. That was Valant applying the pressure and some extracurriculars with Johnson. And Johnson, he's going to get called for an exclusion. And a double exclusion there with Valant. Valant and Johnson, some extracurriculars back in transition for Gannon. And it's going to be a double exclusion. Johnson on one side and Valant on the other. We've had a few double exclusions in this tournament. The officials, Day O'Neill on the near side. Women's head coach for St. Francis. I'm curious to see what St. Francis is going to do. They're a member of the WWPA. They just have a women's water polo team, but after this year, St. Francis, they are a Division I school, member of the Northeast Conference, but they are going to be moving down to the Division III ranks. They'll be joining the President's Athletics Conference after the conclusion of this school year. And off the double exclusions to Jacek. Kotskar in front. Trying to get away, turning around and shooting. Shaw is denied by Hammes. And Johnson and Valant come back into the pool. Sandino. The Brokar. Brokar back to Sandino, who gets up to the 6-meter line, 7 to shoot. Sandino to the point with the pass, trying to feed it to Gray. And another exclusion is going to go against the Knights as the Birds try to get back within 2 as we approach the halfway point of the second quarter. Ramos, Sandino, back to the point. Brokar. Ramos, Sandino, back to Ramos with the 2-meter, 10 to shoot. Throws it over, trying to get a shot. They got it! Blake Johnson. And it's 6-4. McGarry, Manzitas, Farsong. Gannon trying the counter after the Birds made it 6-4. McGarry, Farsong, back into the middle, Shaw off of the crossbar. And the Birds have it back, trying to cut it to a 1-goal deficit. Sandino racing it up, 3rd place on the line. Ramos. They reset. Canela, 7 to shoot. Lets it go. It is denied. Stone cold by Mahauchi. And Mahauchi wasting no time racing it up. Lanzitas with the pass. $15 to shoot. Kotskar circling. He scores. Alexandros Kotskar, 7-4. The first team all-conference member for Gannon gets the extra point for the Knights. Concordia has arrived. As the Golden Eagles are getting ready to warm up, to the side who will head back to Southern California as the champion will be Concordia after their 3rd try. Following in the championship match 2 years in a row, that is going to skip wide, taken by Sandino, or will Biola win their 2nd WWPA championship in program history after taking the championship over Concordia 2 years ago. Zetas. McGarry. Farsong. Low at the 2-meter. Farsong has it back, trying for another goal and a whistle. Farsong in front off of the crossbar. Hammes got a piece of it on the way. They throw it. Lanzitas. Circling, they shoot off of the crossbar again. That chance to Kotskar. Kotskar looking to go back-to-back. Fresno Pacific. Ramos leads it ahead with under 2 minutes remaining until we move to the first half. Until you move to the second half, I should say. 10 seconds. The love, and it is going to go wide. And Mahauchi is going to throw it. Lanzides. And Hamish trying to get it back. He will. The pressure was just enough by Luke Young. Ramos. Back towards the middle. A penalty shot. Drawn by Forrest Gray. And Forrest Gray will have the chance to make it 7-5. It was drawn by Gray, and assuming he is going to take the penalty shot. The WWPA second team member this year for Fresno Pacific, an honorable mention in his sophomore year and his junior year. And the senior out of Milpitas, California, can make it 7-5 right here. He does not. Mahauchi with another stop. That was the second penalty shot opportunity for Fresno Pacific, and Mahauchi stopping both of them. And the other way, Dylan Shaw gives it right back to Fresno Pacific. Ramos had the pressure. And the catch, Jordan Lambert's in front. And a whistle. Gannon regains possession with under a minute left, ahead by 3. And the Knights send it back. Lanzides. The Coach car. Controls with the right hand. Circles. Back one-timer, and they score again. Farsong, 8-4. And Farsong picks up a hat trick. A 4-goal lead for the Knights, as the host school for this year's tournament looks to end this championship in 3rd place. There's Luke Young. Now Forrest Gray. 12 seconds to shoot for Fresno Pacific. And they have to give the ball away. Snyder Mills. Shot clock turned off for Gannon, as they try to extend the lead to 5. Snyder Mills. Markovic. 6 seconds. Markovic. Pressure by Lambert. Markovic again. Lambert applying more pressure. And he has to lob up a Hail Mary shot, and Hamis is going to swat it out of the air to end the first half. An 8-4 lead in the 3rd place game for the Gannon Golden Knights. We move along to the 3rd quarter. When we come back, you're watching the WWPA men's 3rd place game. Gannon leads it over Fresno Pacific 8-4. We'll be back to start the 3rd. We are back here on the WWPA Sports Network as we move along the second half action in the 2025 WWPA men's third place game, an 8-4 lead for the Gannon Golden Knights as we move to the third. So it's off to the third quarter, and the opening sprint is won by Farshong. Farshong 3 goals for Gannon in the first half. And Farshong controls again as he looks for goal number 4. 10 seconds to shoot, he's got it! Ramon Farshong starts off the third. And it's 9-4. There's Hamas. Forrest Gray. Short past the Fox. Has some open pull around him. Forrest Gray. 9 seconds to shoot. Gray takes a dip in. He's going to fire, and he just misses it. Hits the post, and it sailed wide. Gannon has it back, looking to extend the lead to 6. Zajacic lets it go, and that's going to sail wide. Both shots that have missed the net on the last 2 offensive possessions. Blake Johnson sends it off. Ramos. And towards the middle, throws it over. They score the one-timer, the Sandino. Gannon still holds the lead, but Sandino gets the birds on the board in the third. Zajacic, Farshong. Back into the middle, another whistle, and possession back to Gannon as they tried to feed a chance in front to Clark. Actually, Clark was the one who had the pressure. That's going to be, my apologies, that's a foul against Gannon. And Fresno Pacific with a chance to go back-to-back here. Blake Johnson. Some open blue for Ramos, and he is going to hit it off the crossbar. Mahouchi is going to poke it away as Tristan Fox tried for the rebound. Mahouchi throws it over, a catch for Markovic. Markovic past the 5. On the outside, Clark pressuring him. Markovic still holds, trying to get away. Petr Markovic, an open net as Hamas was playing it. He tried to get a chance to Snyder Mills. And another defensive stop for Fresno Pacific. Sandino. Long pass. 7 seconds to shoot. They shoot. Try for the deflection in front. As Forrest Gray shot it into heavy congestion. Clark tried to send the deflection into the net. And Mahouchi pushing it. Lanzitas. Farshong. Back towards the middle, Markovic, and a steal for Hamas. Both of these teams trying for third place, and Fresno Pacific, of course, making the long trip here from California. And it seems John Miller is going to use a timeout. John Miller, he was the head coach for the women's program at Cal Baptist for 8 years from 2014 to 2022, also played at Cal Baptist. And on the other side, Marko Zadakovic, former player for Gannon as well, including leading Gannon in goals and points in his senior year. He had 68 goals his senior year in 2018 and 104 points. He was an MAWPC West All-Region First Team member for 2 seasons. He has been at the helm of this program since 2023. He's also the head coach of the women's team as well. And he has coached in all 3 schools that have water polo in the Erie area. He started off as a grad assistant at Penn State Barron in the fall of 2019, and then he was a grad assistant at Mercier from 2021 to 2021, and it was actually under unfortunate circumstances because Curtis Robinette, the longtime head coach for Mercier, unfortunately he had to take over the program. Marko Zadakovic did, because unfortunately Curtis Robinette unfortunately passed away after a long battle with cancer in 2021 at just the age of 41. And play resumes. Sandino at the 6-meter. Trying to drive towards the net. Gray gets it to him. Gray trying for the turnaround somehow. How's he trying to get it? Oh, Gray has it back, and a lot of splashing as Ramos tried for a shot. And Fresno Pacific is going to keep as a result, and Gray trying to push it in, and it is going to be denied. Dylan Shaw with the steal. And Gannon, they score the other way. And it is 10-5. It's going to be Kotsgar getting the goal after Shaw got the steal. Sandino. A 5-goal lead for Gannon. So we approach the halfway point of the third, and then we will get ready for the 2025 WWPA Championship match. And a foul. Sandino gets it back. Sandino again. Back towards the middle for his Gray. One-timer. Chance is denied. They tried to get it off to Tristan Fox, but the block in front. McGarry getting a piece of it. And back the other way. Lanzides, and that is denied. What a catch for Helmus. And he throws it back the other way. Fresno Pacific. The offense was already back. Gannon taking that shot quickly in transition, and Tristan Fox trying to pick it up, and it is denied the other way by Mahauchi. Tristan Fox gets denied again for another goal. And Gannon, in his number 24, it's the senior out of Collegeville, PA, Sebastian Gallo. And Zarko Zadakovic, trying to get his seniors in, knowing that this is the final game of the year for the Knights, and of course the final game for Fresno Pacific as well on the season. And 5 seconds to shoot here for Gannon. Into the middle, the turnaround shot, they score! What a beautiful turnaround chance for Lanzides, and it's 11-5. Another goal for Lanzides, it's his second. A member of the honorable mention team this year. And the sophomore out of Greece who already has surpassed 200 points in his career at Gannon. Was a first team member a year ago and was also a member of the defensive team last year and the freshman team for the sophomore out of Athens. And for Fresno Pacific, the only international player for the Birds is Ben Rapley, one of the backup goalies. He's from New Zealand. Canales in front, a whistle. An exclusion as they tried to send a chance to Young. Fresno Pacific resets. Trying to make it a 5-goal game again. Forrest Gray. And maneuver it around. Gray again. Ramos. And a shot by Young. Oh, it is going to go in. It seems Mahauchi had the save, but he cannot control the loose ball as it got away from his hand. Gannon trying to go ahead by 6. They were looking to there, but that is denied by Hammes. Fresno Pacific taking it back the other way. Throws it over. What a save by Mahauchi! Denying the chance for Gray, and the rebound went to Clark. And an exclusion is going to be called against Gannon because Clark was being pressured on the rebound. Forrest Gray sends it, and that is another stop for Mahauchi in the fight for the ball. Gannon with it, and a whistle. And Lanzitas swimming it the other way for Gannon with under 1:30 remaining until we head to the 4th. And then we will get ready to crown a champion. Sebastian Gallo, the senior class coach score as well for Gannon. The only 2 seniors, so it seems that Zarko Zadakovic is going to play both of them for the rest of the game, and a young team for Gannon for next year. Looking on the other side for Fresno Pacific, you want to talk about a young team. That's the same for Fresno Pacific. Christian Clark is the only senior for the Birds. Oh, actually, my apologies, Forrest Gray as well, along with Samuel Ramos. Just the quick look initially. So Fresno Pacific losing 3 seniors next year, but still a young team returning next year. But a big loss for Fresno Pacific is going to be Forrest Gray. Remember, the second team this year. So 2 young teams will have to regroup for the 2026 tournament next year. 3 seniors for Fresno Pacific, and for Gannon, only 2. And his goal to make it 12-6 with 32 seconds until we head to the 4th. Lanzitas with the goal. Lanzitas, one of those key returners coming back for Gannon next year. He'll be in his junior year. But Alexandros Kotsgar, a big key that Gannon will be losing to graduation. Luke Young. Ramos. And past the 2-meter. And a whistle. 8 seconds remaining. One more chance for Fresno Pacific. And a foul as Clark was controlling. Now Lambert. Ramos throws it. Gray! And that is going to be blocked to end the 3rd. That was blocked by Nathaniel Castellon. And as a result, Gannon takes a 6-goal lead with them into the 4th. And a very busy time for Gannon Athletics as well, of course, hosting the tournament this year. Both of their soccer clubs are going to be in action today in the NCAA tournament. Their men's team is going to be playing in their first round game against Bentley out of Massachusetts. And today in just over an hour. And then the women's soccer team, they defeated Bloomsburg in their first round game 2-0 in the first round of the Division II National Tournament in the Atlantic Regional, and they moved to the second round as they will be taking on Shepherd. A PSAC battle in the second round of the Division II Women's Soccer Championship, and the volleyball team for Gannon losing to East Stroudsburg in the PSAC Championship game yesterday, but still a second chance for Gannon, as it seems that they will no doubt get an at-large bid to the NCAA volleyball tournament that will be beginning in 2 weeks. With everybody trying to get to the Sanford Pentagon for volleyball in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. As we move along to the fourth year and we get ready to crown a champion, and one of the big storylines entering into the tournament is of course, the majority of champions have been from the state of California, but Salem stopping a streak after 10 years. The last non-California champion in the WWPA before Salem broke it was in 2012 against Air Force. And a streak from 2013 to 2023, the last of the decade, with the WWPA men's champion being from the state of California, and Salem breaking it. Ever since 1990, the only years that the champion has not been from the state of California: Salem in 2024, Air Force in 2012, and the other titles going to Air Force in 1994 and 1990. So in those 34 years, just 3 times that the champion was not from the state of California. Actually made that technically 30 times after 34 years, as he missed a few. So Air Force, 2012, 1994, and 1990. So the only years that the champion has not been from the state of California in the history of WWPA men's water polo: 1990, 1994, 2012, and last year. Those 3 titles for Air Force, and the one last year to Salem. As play resumes, as we continue to move along into the third place game. And the final quarter for both of these clubs on the 2025 season is underway. And Gannon looking to take the third place game after falling in the third place game to Biola last year. Gannon starts off with the opening sprint, but they have to give it back to the Sunbirds. Amis sends it along to Ramos. They throw it over. There's Forrest Gray. Canales. Now Ramos. Trying for the one-timer. They score. Right in front, the one-timer, the Tristan Fox. And Fresno Pacific strikes first in the fourth. It's a 5-goal game again. Arshog. There's the J-check. And trying for the steal and the sail the other way was Fresno Pacific. That was Sandino. Gannon right in front. Hamas looking for it, and possession's going to stay with Gannon after Markovic got caught up in a knot, and Markovic is going to get it back, and he's going to score to make it 13-7. Hector Markovic. And it's 13-7 Gannon. Tristan Fox finds a man far side. Canales. Sandino below the 2-meter. One more chance for Fresno Pacific to try to get a comeback off of the crossbar, and that is going to bounce out of play. As Gannon will wrap up year number 3 as a member of the WWPA. After falling in the third place game last year, it seems they are going to cruise away to the third place finish this year. Snyder Mills, of course, Gannon falling a little bit short of their hopes of a championship. Fresno Pacific in the same boat there. But a turnover is forced. So Fresno Pacific, if they want one chance to try to get a comeback, they need goals now. Hamas is going to throw it over to Sandino. And then it'll be a long trip back to California for the Sunbirds as they get ready for the 2026 season. Sandino sending it over. Trying for the shot. It's going to hit off of the crossbar high into the air with a shot by Canales. As Concordia has arrived. They have been here watching some of the action in this third place game as they enter the pool deck as they will get ready to warm up. Seems Biola, I'm sure, is somewhere around here. I want to thank the SPIRE Aquatic Center for hosting us for the tournament. Snyder Mills, a phenomenal facility here. Mateus Zajacic. Snyder Mills with it again, trying for a shot. Pressure by Ramos. Zajacic, and it resets. Asselon throws it over. And in front, what a stop for Hamas. Snyder Mills gets rejected on the one-timer. Blake Johnson swimming it ahead at the 6 meter. And another whistle. Into the middle, they shoot to wide Ramos. So Gannon will race it up the other way. See if they maybe try to want to use the clock to their advantage or maybe stay aggressive. Farshong towards the middle. Markovic, another save for Hamas, and it goes to Johnson. Fresno Pacific controlling it with the Birds wanting one more chance as they try for a one-timer. It's in the back of the net. It's not going to count. Taken by Fox. And a timeout in the pool. With 4:25 left in the fourth quarter, and that was called by Marko Zadakovic. And Marko Zadakovic, third season at the helm of this men's water polo program. Also a member of the women's, also the head coach for the women's team as well. We talked about it with Marko Zadakovic. Marko Zadakovic, he has coached at all 3 colleges in the area that have water polo. Penn State Barron, and along with Mercyhurst, we mentioned he was the interim head coach at Mercyhurst at the start of the 2021 season because of unfortunate circumstances after the loss of Curtis Robinette, longtime head coach for Mercyhurst, who unfortunately passed away due to cancer in 2021, as Zadakovic coming back home to Gannon. They're spending some time at both Mercyhurst and Penn State Barron. So we move along still towards the halfway point of the fourth quarter. Sebastian Gallo. And another new player coming in, it's Peter Wilk, and a denial there by Hamas. And some new players coming in. And Mahauchi's going to stay in for Gannon, a big key for the Knights next year. Mahauchi's going to be going into his junior year. Mahouchi has been able to come up with 11 saves and Hammes with 12. And that's another big key for Fresno Pacific. Hammes, he'll be going into his senior year next year. An exclusion against Gannon as Fresno Pacific. One more chance. Under 4 minutes to play. See if they can try to make a case to fight their way back. Blake Johnson. Johnson has it again. Waiting to shoot. Forrest Gray. Thought about letting it go. Back to Johnson. The lob back at the 2 meter. 10 to shoot. Ramos. Johnson. Birds running out of time. They shoot and they score. Blake Johnson. There's Mahouchi. He's trying for control. Well, not that last transition. I apologize. I think I accidentally said that was Mahouchi controlling left to right in goal by accident, but that was my apology. That was indeed Chase Hammes. And he's going to need to come up with a big stop here if Fresno Pacific wants to try to make a case to try to get a comeback. As Gannon looking to close things out on this third place game as Kotzgar playing in his final minutes as a night. And a whistle and possession back to Gannon. Or back to, and I did, so whoops, I did it again, back to Fresno Pacific. Forrest Gray. Fresno Pacific, could they have some light? Luke Young, they do! Luke Young back to back for the Birds! And it's a 4-goal game with 3:05 left. Luke Young, the sophomore. As he picks up his second goal. Hard to believe, Forrest Gray, he has 11 shots in this game, but he only has 1 goal. Maybe try to feed some more chances to him if Fresno Pacific can get a stop here. McGann is still in control by 4 with under 3 minutes left now. There's Kotzgar. McGarry. Gannon playing things conservative, trying to use the clock to their advantage. 12 seconds to shoot, and Shaw trying to get it up into the air, and the pressure put on by Fresno Pacific. Tristan Fox applying it, and Ramos back the other way. And a foul against Gannon back in transition. That goes against McGarry. Ramos throws it, Blake Johnson. Johnson battling there with Snyder Mills. Luke Young trying to go back-to-back. Finds Blake Johnson in towards the middle, and it is going to be an exclusion against Gannon. It's not a penalty shot like I assume what the Birds were looking for with Clark in front. Ramos, the Johnson, looking to fire in the traffic, sends it off, and Forrest Gray tried for it, but it's blocked. And Fresno Pacific is going to keep it. That was blocked by Lanzides. Ramos, oh, it's in! Off of the feed to the far side, back-to-back for Luke Young. And that is 3 goals in a row for Fresno Pacific, and it's a 3-goal game with 2:01 left. Luke Young, a tough angle shot, and he gets it through anyway. So we're not done yet in the third place game. Still a 3-goal lead, though, for Gannon, and they were ahead 13-7. Fresno Pacific needs 3 more to tie. McGarry hands it off. And the catch. Matthew Bordy into the middle. Hammes putting the hands up, and a foul as he tried to send it off to Shaw. And Shaw pulling it back. And Bordy. McGarry back to Bordy. Gannon's going to try to use some of the clock now. McGarry, the love over. An exclusion Power play, goal for Gannon to make it 14-10. Callum Snyder-Mills, the freshman, and the Erie native. Stops the 3-0 run for Fresno Pacific. And John Miller's going to call a timeout. And Callum Snyder-Mills getting the big goal, his first of this game. For the freshman, one of the Erie natives, went to Cathedral Prep High School with Henson Morphy. Or Houston Morphy, excuse me. So 1:33 left. And that big goal for Snyder-Mills. Fresno Pacific was trying to create a comeback. They're down by 4 with 1:33 left. We'll see if Fresno Pacific has a miracle in them after cutting it close and making things interesting, or will Gannon prevail and end the 2025 season with a third place finish in this tournament, as well as 14 wins. Gannon got 16 wins last year. Marko Zadakovic, improvement after his freshman year, controlling this team as a coach when they went 12-10 in 2023. And Gannon started off the year in Providence at the Bruno Classic, hosted by Brown. Fresno Pacific, they began their year at the Bobcat Mini and with an expedition game, and then they took on Santa Clara. And then they went to Redlines, California for the Inline Empire Classic. And a stop there for Mahauchi off the timeout. Fresno Pacific is going to keep possession. Hammis at the 6-meter line, pushing it ahead. They shoot, they score. Tristan Fox. Back to a 3-point game, and Hammis having to swim back in a hurry. But Fresno Pacific bringing Hammis as an extra attacker. And no timeouts left for Fresno Pacific, but Marko Zadakovic has 3 of them. Ramos, actually my Froshong actually sending that up the boardy. And Gannon's going to try to run out the clock. With 1:02 left, and the empty net goal will be in order for Matthew Bordy as Chase Hammis having to swim back in a hurry with the extra attacker. And it's back to a 4-goal lead for Gannon. And Fresno Pacific definitely making things interesting. When they got those 3 goals in a row, they make it 13-10. And Hammis racing up the pool past the midline. Hands it off to Ramos. Hammis has it back. The flip to Gray, who lets it go, and he scores. And Forrest Gray makes it a 3-goal lead for Gannon. And we talked about it a little while ago with Forrest Gray having the most shots in this game. His 12th shot, but only a 2nd goal. And Lambert almost, and actually that was an almost turnover by McGarry. Already another whistle. Pressure by Blake Johnson. And Gannon will possibly try for maybe 1 more goal on the 2025 season. And Farsong, he might get it. He's going to get the goal, obviously, but will that be the last for Gannon this year? And what a day for Farsong. He now has 5 goals. And Farsong, the sophomore out of Hungary, one of those key pieces for Gannon returning next year. Maybe 1 more chance here for Fresno Pacific to try to get a goal before they head back home to California. Fresno Pacific making history, though, in this tournament, going to the WWPA semifinals after being a member of this conference for 10 years. And their first semifinal game ever as a member of the WWPA was yesterday, as Farshawn is going to send it off, and it is indeed going to be a goal. So the last goal of the year for Gannon will go maybe to Nick Forrest Lanzitas, so it is not. And that goal, after all, the Bordy, Ressi Farshawn, I should say. 17-12 as Lanzitas might get the last goal for Gannon. Hammis is going to throw it over. Tristan Fox, one last chance here. And it is going to be tried for a late shot by Tristan Fox, but it was too late anyway. And Gannon is going to take the third place game by a final score of 17-12 over Fresno Pacific, as the host school for the 2025 tournament and the #1 seed out of the East finishes off this tournament in third place. Fresno Pacific, they will head back home, though, to California with their highest finish ever in this tournament, as they'll take fourth. So a lot of big keys to build on for next year for both of these teams. Gannon getting the #1 seed, Fresno Pacific going to the semifinals for the first time in their history. Both teams will shake hands for the final time, as both Fresno Pacific and Gannon leave the pool for the final time this year as well. And Gannon will head back home. They started getting ready for next year, and Fresno Pacific will head back home to California. Get ready for next year, as well as we're going to step aside here on the WWPA Sports Network. Zarko Zadakovic will come up to talk to us when we come back, as the Gannon Golden Knights take the third place game over Fresno Pacific 17-12. We are back here on the WWPA Sports Network here with Gannon head coach Zarko Sadakovic, as Gannon will end the 2025 men's tournament in third place with a victory over Fresno Pacific. So, Zarko, obviously not what you wanted entering into this tournament, but how does it feel to end this tournament knowing that you're hosting it in third place?
Absolutely. We definitely had, high expectation, and we were shooting for that first place. But there's a lot of good teams this year. Everybody is kind of around the same boat when it comes to skill set, and everybody almost beat each other on the both sides of the season. So coming into this weekend hosting, we knew that it's going to be hard. Obviously, we knew that it's going to be very, very, very tough schedule, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get the win yesterday, but today we prevail, and then some of the guys stepped it up. And in the second half of the game, we definitely pushed the rhythm and the tempo and got the victory.
And talk about just this time getting ready to host this tournament. Just how was it like for you and your program to have the chance to host this tournament this year?
To be honest with you, this is my first time hosting such a big an event, and seeing how much stuff is done behind the scenes, it's amazing. I mean, everybody from SPIRE, from WWPA, from Gannon had been doing the working table, which is usually my women's team. They did an amazing job. Everybody did an amazing job, and it's quite something when you're into the heart of it. When you're just being a part of the tournaments and you travel, you don't realize how much stuff is done behind the scenes. So I very much appreciated everybody's help.
And like you said, you're going to be getting ready for the women's season
Correct.
Coming in a few months. But talk about your men's team getting ready for next year, because it seems like that you have a lot of really key pieces returning for next year. And I think it starts in net with Mahalchi.
We do. We definitely. That whole class, sophomore class, have been amazing alongside with everybody else that we got in the meantime, and the kids that I have inherited, when I came to Gannon. We've been working very hard in the last 3 years, and you can definitely see from the results how we did. And we're just getting closer and closer to the championship, and I was just telling to the guys, it slipped this year, but in the next couple of years, we're definitely going to be there.
And what do you have to say about the job that Mahalchi played in that? Because that's going to be a really big key for you guys for next year.
Absolutely. Bato had an amazing season. Obviously, last year he was a second goalie, so he couldn't get his shine as much as he did this season. But he has been the main wall of defense, and I'm just looking forward to see what he can do in the next years.
Zarko, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Absolutely.
That is Zarko Sadakovic, head coach for the Gannon Golden Knights, as the Knights will close out the 2025 Men's Water Polo Championship in third place. So it is going to be time in about a half hour to start the 2025 WWPA Championship match. It will be an all-Southern California matchup. Coming up here is the Concordia Golden Eagles will take on the Biola Eagles. So it's an all-Southern California matchup, and it's a battle of the Eagles as we move to the championship match, which will be coming up in about a half hour on the WWPA Sports Network.